Hello, hello, it's Shereen. Well, it's another day, day number 4. So let me just say the first thing, like, do you know what really makes me laugh is that when I do these videos, and because I drop some really random, quite meaningless things in my videos, it's always the bit that people pick out because it's always the question that I get asked the most. So the first question that I get asked the most is, am I getting enough sleep? The answer is not 100% yes, but it's getting better. It is getting better. So thank you, um, for all those people that keep asking me. Um, Recording this video quite late. Sorry, because another crazy, crazy day. But what I wanted to talk about is listening with an intent to hear. So yesterday, in my day 3 video called "We Need to See Receipts," I talked about the importance of reaching out to Black employees, of you as white people doing the ones, or non-Black people as being the ones to do the heavy lifting. And I explained why that was really important. Now, this time, what I want to say is, let's imagine that you've reached out, so you've kind of opened the door, and now you're thinking, shit, well, what am I going to say? Oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? I know Shereen told me not to say, like, I'm really sorry, I didn't know what to say. I know she told me that, so what am I going to say? What am I going to say? So don't underestimate the power of, like, vulnerability. If you have learned nothing, forget anything. You can forget not everything, because everything I had to say is very, very important. But like, I showed up here just as myself. My hair's not even done properly, but it's late, so do you know, it's a society, yeah. And I just spoke from the heart. I didn't practice it. There's no rehearsal, so it never sounded engineered, and that makes a massive difference because remember I said that we need to see that you're genuine. And the reason why I was so chippy about what I feel are surface symbols to show solidarity, like really chippy. Like, I've seen people posting, you know, they do really well in their comments, not just social media. When I say posting, I do mean like in general terms, but I see people doing really well when they post. It's like, guys, we have to take things seriously. We have to show Black people that we care, that we're fighting for them, and they've got it all the posters all super formatted, and they do really, really well until they get to the last line of the post. And the last line says, type yes if you agree. No. See, that tells me it's not genuine. That tells me you're doing it to look good. So that's why I don't like surface symbols, because they don't mean anything. The hashtag doesn't mean anything. The social post doesn't mean anything. Action means something. So you showing some vulnerability is you saying, this is how it made me reflect when I watched Shereen's videos, or when I read that book, White Privilege, or when I listened to whoever talk, or I, watched this television interview. This is how it made me reflect and think about. These are the things that I thought about. Now, that is far better than, I'm really sorry, I didn't know what to say, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know. It's also, that is also far better to talk about, how it's made you reflect, because reflection means that you've done some work. That's why I like reflection. And it means that you've moved from point A to point B. That's why I like reflection. So we've established we don't want to hear the, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say. Only honestly, just because we're not in the mood to hear it. So we've established that. We also, no matter how well intentioned this is, we know you can never experience what we're experiencing because you're not in our shoes. But our human nature is when we see that people are in pain or that they're not happy, is we try and find common ground by thinking about something similar that they've experienced that we too have experienced. But how, whether or not this is true, just for the purpose of what we're trying to achieve here, which is the equivalent of you standing up for us, let me tell you, there is no example that you can give. Not really. In your head, it might seem like a good example. Like, I don't want to hear that it's just like when you went on holiday and, you were the only white person, and for a split second, you just thought, oh my God, is this how life is for black people? No, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear it's just like when you stepped into a team and as a woman, but the rest of the team were men and you knew how awkward that felt. No, no, we don't want to hear that either. Because when you start giving those things, even though in your mind you're thinking, okay, because I'm just trying to, it comes from a good place. It does come from a good place, well, ish, but because you're still making it about you, but it comes from a good place. However, you can't understand. So let's just close the door on that. Let's focus on showing some vulnerability, showing some reflection, showing that you've thought about what you're hearing, what you're seeing, and then you're open to listen. Because in you being honest and being really honest, because for all of us, we've all had to hold a mirror up to look at who we are and what we stand for and what because what we thought we stood for, like we're all good people, all of us are good people. Well, not everybody, but for the purpose, let's imagine all people are good people. So to be confronted that because we as black people have kept quiet about our struggles, about our feelings of being the odd ones out, about being minorities, about not being equal, that maybe we've got a part to play in this. A lot of people ain't going to say this out loud, but I'm going to say it because these are the reflections that I've had, right? These are the reflections that I've had. So in this, I'm not talking for other people, I'm just talking for myself. And then if you're a white person, you're thinking, all this time that I've not talked about race or I've shied away from it for whatever reason, not engaged, all these times I've said, but I don't see colour, inherently in that is an assumption that my life and your life is the same, that my position in society and your position in society is the same, and it's not the same. So that's why we don't like that. That's why we react when we hear that. So there needs to be a meeting of sharing, human to human. That's why I said yesterday, like, this is not about you being the line manager, the head of the department, the HR person, the director. You're talking to people on a human to human level, and you're sharing how this new knowledge has made you think about what you thought was true, and now you've realized it's not true, and now you're so wanting to fix it. But this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is not for a guy. This is why I say this is not a D&I strategy. So all these people who right now are talking about, here's a playbook that we've created to help you build inclusion into your businesses, that are deliberately trying to profit off the back of what is going on. Now, the good, if the, listen, if the playbook or whatever it is, the guide, policy, whatever, if it's good, I want to see about, this is the UK, so let's forget America. I want to see about giving the reader plotted history, short tour, nothing too crazy, of the impact of colonialism and slavery. I'm giving you like the realist of the real talk because this is what we talk about. If these diversity and inclusion strategies, handbooks, guides are really addressing the root cause of the problem, because you have to understand the root cause. Just like in tech terms, if you don't understand the problem, then the solution is never going to work. This is the problem. We have never understood the problem. So if somebody's going to come to me, and somebody will, because, that's what I've opened myself up for, and is going to say, no, 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 but we've got all the latest research. Okay, then does it cover the fact that Britain was built off the back of slaves? Does it cover that? Because if it does, and then you start to that, because that's the context that we need to see that we are seen and acknowledged. Because it's understanding that's led to where we are today. And there are far more knowledgeable people about this. I'm just talking in super general terms because I am giving you the real talk based on the conversations that I've had my whole life on this stuff. So that's why I get like pissy. Do you know what I mean? That's why I just the reason why I'm sharing all of this is not to make you go, I'm not going to do this. I can't do it because I'm not going to get it right. No, it's because I'm trying to help you understand why, for all those people that accuse black people of being what's the word, like bitter and angry, defensive. I'm not excusing, like, this is not about making excuses. What I'm saying is that you have to understand where we're coming from, because can you imagine your whole life knowing a truth, right? Your whole life you've known a truth, you know it, and everybody else around you who doesn't look like you. So imagine, as white people, you were the minority, right? And and we as black people were in the majority. Imagine. Now imagine you go your whole life, because all of you white people in the minority understand that black people have built all of the UK off the back of slavery of your white ancestors, but we don't talk about it. And we say to you, oh, yeah, but that was in the past. Listen, don't worry about it. Just get over it. God, we've got equal opportunities. We've got gender pay gap. We've got, more of this stuff. We do like unconscious bias training. So we've done our work. And listen, it wasn't me. Just remember, I am not racist. It was not me. I did not put your people in slaves. It wasn't me. I didn't enslave them, because that's kind of what we've had to deal with. I'm not saying every single conversation has to go there, but maybe I am saying maybe every single conversation has to go there, because maybe you need to hear that. And maybe this is the sort of thing that, if you really truly are open to these sorts of conversations, like, this is how uncomfortable it is going to feel. Like, me and you are not even sat opposite each other, and I think you can already feel it. You're like, oh, that is how uncomfortable it is. But we have to go there. We have to go there so you really see us, you know? Because that's when you start to understand why we are disillusioned. someone commented in one of my LinkedIn posts. I was like, I thought, oh my God, because sometimes I struggle with the words because, you know, too in the moment. And that is the word disillusioned. So when you see things through, like I'm trying to, as close as I get so you can see from, like through my eyes, that's why we can't hear. I don't know what to say. It's like when I had an Alsatian dog and I went into the park and all the other owners had poodles. Like, we don't give a shit. But the only way we can connect is as human beings. And what does that mean? Is I might not understand what you've been through, but I can empathize with your pain. And if my actions have unwittingly contributed to that, so in my inaction, I contributed to that. Now that I recognize it and I see you, like I really see you, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm reflecting about. This is what I'm questioning. As human beings first, don't jump into the business. Don't jump into the leadership like, you know, we. Don't talk to your employees one to one and expect them to share their pain, their hurt, and you give it the we as a leadership team. This is not the time for like the corporate. And I swear, my mom tells me I swear too much on video, but it's not the time. So there is no training, like for want of a better word. There is no handbook. There is no webinar, no panel. It's really going to talk about this. So I'm going to talk about it. And knowing that some people are going to come for me. Some people have tried. That's okay. In a nice way, I get them together. And in a nice way, I tell them I said what I said. So, like, I know in a weird way, like, I hope this makes you feel better. I don't. It probably doesn't. And I'm sorry ish. But this type of conversation that I'm having with you, like you're here in my kitchen that desperately needs tidying, but you're here, is the level of honest conversations that you need to have with your teams and with your, you've got to have this conversation with your whole workforce, of course. However you decide to do that, like, let's not argue over semantics. You've got to be open and vulnerable with your black employees. You've got to show them that you're listening. You've got to show them that you're not expecting them to justify why they're hurting because I've done that job for you to a certain extent. I mean, everyone will have their own experience and everyone will layer this on top of it, but you can't expect them to like justify just so you can understand. For those people that says, "Oh no, I won't do that," let me tell you, I've had enough conversations this week when I have had to do exactly that, even despite some people watching some of my videos, not all of them, and then not respecting what I'm doing. So they're asking me questions, and I'm saying, "But have you watched my video?" And they go, "Oh no, I just no what." So right, okay. So I put the time in to do videos. You know they're there because you told me that you've seen it. So respect me and respect my time. Don't try and shortcut the process. Like, watch the video, then you can come and ask me whatever questions you want. Don't just jump on because you see me put a sentence because I'm feeling a bit pissy. So this is why I keep saying like we have to be like deliberate and intentional. And it is hard, right? Because it's hard because like every time you've got to think, but you know what? I don't think it hurts to be a little bit more thoughtful. I really don't. because for years, this this worry that you have about putting a foot wrong, guess what? That's what we've been worrying about this whole time. This is how we have to be. Shit, what have I said? Fix my face. Like that's that discomfort that you're feeling, like thinking like Shereen's hitting me with so much stuff here. Like, how am I gonna remember it all? How am I gonna know how I'm gonna know? What if I put, shit, I've got that's what it's been like for us in the workplace. That's what it still is actually for some people. So, how long is this video? I don't even know. 20 minutes, another 20-minute video. There you go. But it's important. It's important. Like, I'll do clips. I'll do clips. But this is the level of real talk that I wish we did more of. But rather than wishing, I'm just going to do it. Talk to you like you're here. I would offer you a cup of tea, but we don't have any milk. Sorry. Thank you for listening. Just even being here, because so many people won't. They'll just call me before they've looked at any of this.